Hello, 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 everybody. We are here to talk about this full moon in Gemini that's coming in this Sunday, 12:15. Oh my goodness. So whenever you're seeing this, whenever you're hearing about this, it will be auspicious. Hey Freya, 1111, welcome, 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 welcome. Are you Gemini? Are you a Gemini? Freya, are you a Gemini? I wore this hat for Gemini. Actually, I wore it for myself because it keeps my head warm. At any rate, how are you doing? How are the holidays unfolding so far? So far, so good. I hope so. Tony, Girlfriend Design, join. Hello, welcome in. We're here to talk about this full moon in Gemini that's coming in on Sunday. Oh, I'm so sorry the stream is frozen. On my side, it seems pretty good. So the title of this full moon in Gemini is Clearing the Air. And Gemini is an air sign. That's one thing I love about Gemini. And being governed by the planet Mercury, it's all about communication. And Mercury right now is in retrograde. So it's been kind of a quieter time, let's say, so to speak. Quieter time, so to speak. But anyway, thank you so much for tuning in. It's a great time. Just because it's December, we're closing out a year. If I were you, I would sage, 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 sage. You can't sage too much. So this lunation is coming in this Sunday, 12:15. And right out of the bat, I look at the date that it's happening on. It's happening on the 15th. 5 plus 1 is a 6, which is truly the number of love and partnership too. Because Gemini is a sign of the twin. So right away, when you think of Gemini, you think of two poles of energy or two people, however you want to view it. So 1:01 a.m. Pacific time, that it's coming in at 23 degrees. So 23 reduces to the number 5. And if you listen to this channel enough, you know that 5 is the number of change, which Gemini is so famous for being a part of, and we'll get into that. So I'm going to read backwards. This is something that I usually would close out with, but I think it will set the tone. But before we go forward, I just want to send prayers and love and light to my fellow Malibu Canyon, Cold Canyon, and Pepperdine, and the Conejo Valley, that those recent fires that ripped through Malibu. Unbelievable. When the Woolsey fires happened, I was in the eye of the needle of the fires. And I just found it so fascinating. Here I am talking about Aquarius, talking about Gemini and Sagittarius, a fire and air sign. And the last thing we needed for that fire was air. Typically, we want air to clear, to purify, but it was the air that was fueling that fire. So blessings and light go out. I was devastated to hear that it was going up Sarah Road. Sarah Retreat is where I had my wellness retreat with my partner in January, and it seems from everything that I can read and find out that Sarah Retreat is okay. But again, sending blessings and prayers to everybody's way. I was in the Woolsey fires and I had to evacuate, so it brings up energy of that. So far, so good. My property is okay, so thank goodness, thank God. All right, let's get into this. This message comes from Yoga Journal. Every month I tune in and tap in to see what Yoga Journal is talking about, because they do a really great job of sending downloads about what's happening with new moons, full moons, and other things astrologically. So ruled by Mercury and air, Gemini governs our mental processes and how we communicate with ourselves and others. The sign of the ever-curious twins, Gemini represents the duality of the universe that is present within us. So bottom line, Gemini is not the only one that has divided energy. They just have more of a cross to bear because they literally are represented by these two poles of energy. Gemini reminds us that we are complex creatures and illustrates how paradoxical life can be. If you've ever simultaneously felt two emotions or felt pulled in two directions, you were embodying the energy of Gemini. So just to start off, when a sign is on deck, we embody that energy. We all have Gemini somewhere in our chart. So when that sign is on deck, we can foster those qualities or those characteristics of that sign. Gemini, which can be making bittersweet memories, waving opinions, and indecisiveness. As you experience this full moon in Gemini, feel where your energy has been divided. Where is your mind saying one thing and your heart is saying another? Where are you feeling indecisive or insecure in your decisions? Okay, so this is called the full cold moon, and it is cold outside. It's appropriate because when it comes in, it's usually in winter. So December starts winter, and even in Southern California, it is chilly, it is crisp, it is cool, which I love, but I also love being warm. Coming in on 12:15, so I said time to clear the air. Think of clarity, think of resonance, think of information. This full moon always occurs when the sun is opposite the moon. So the opposite of the moon. So we're in Sagittarius season. So Sagittarius and Gemini sit across the wheel from each other. And as it turns out, Sagittarius is probably considered one of Gemini's best partners because you got this fire that is being fueled by the air. Like Gemini is the party, it's the life of the party and never wants to hamper or put out anyone's fire. They want to have fun and be engaged in life. So this is why these two are perfect, because Gemini is going to egg on that Sagittarius passion and fire. We're wrapping up an 8th year, which I'm happy to say I'm glad to see go. I came into 2024 so excited about it being an 8-year infinity and all the power of the number 8. Year of the dragon. I mean, you couldn't have ordered up a better report than these two being together. And I feel like all I've seen in 2024 is the fire and the fury of the dragon. I think the dragon actually swallowed up number 8. But anyway, it's been an interesting year, ups and downs, highs and lows. I've had some amazing, incredible experiences followed by some really crazy dips. This is the last full moon. Yes, and pain. Thank you so much. And pain. So much pain in 2024. Unexpected pain. I mean, we never know what to expect. But again, astrologically speaking and energetically speaking, even Chinese New Year and Chinese Lunar Year forecasted that this would be a great year. I think some people did witness a great painless year and really thrived and had a lot of abundance, but I feel like the moral majority did not. This is an interesting time because right now we have both Mercury and Mars in retrograde, and hallelujah, on the full moon on Sunday, Mercury starts to turn direct, and Mercury is Gemini's home planet, so it is going to be a true, wonderful full moon, because full moon's naturally about releasing and letting things go. And yesterday opened the 12/12 portal. So yesterday opened the 12/12 portal. I did a quick bleep on it yesterday, so you can go to my page and click on what I posted yesterday. 12/12 is a magical portal. It opens every year. It's like the 11/11 portal. Those are the two key ones. I followed the 5/5/5 portal, 11/11, and 12/12. But 12/12 is very spiritual because if you put 12 and 12 together, it equals a 24, which reduces to a 6. If you reduce each of the 12s, 3 and 3 is 6. It's all about love. It's all about love and balance, because if you flip that 6 over, it is a 9. So again, time to clear the air. We have a lot of air energy on deck, with Aquarius being here right next to Gemini, another keeper of information, ideation, technology. It's time to speak and write your truth. and to just do it in a way that it should, just to allow the space to be heard. Sagittarius and Gemini. So Sagittarius will give it the passion, the fire, and Gemini will give us the air. Oftentimes during Mercury retrograde, you want to hesitate to speak because the conversations could go awry. However, this is a great time for it. So 1011 is always a start, a new beginning, and 23 degrees, because a full moon is always about releasing and letting stuff go. So what a great way to close out this month with a full moon. And then on the 30th, we'll have a new moon. So it's just a beautiful, delicious time to begin your letting go. So then we get to the new moon in Capricorn at the end of the month, we'll be ready to fully let it go. Now, Gemini and Sagittarius, being across the wheel from each other, have a lot in common. They're both friendly, adventurous, and optimistic. So let's talk about Gemini. I am guilty of not understanding Gemini, but over the time, I've come to learn more and more about Geminis. And I've always thought that Geminis are very interesting people. Geminis are one of the most creative, let's go on record, Gemini is the most creative sign in the zodiac. You have a lot of famous actors and performers and musicians and artists that are Gemini, and I'm going to call out some of them. So the name Gemini means twin in Latin. So Castor and Pollux are the two bright stars in the Gemini constellation that appears close together in the night sky. And this constellation is home to the Geminid, a meteor shower that peaks in mid-December. So we're right in the peak. When this full moon comes in, we're right in the peak of this mid-December. Your best friend is Gemini, but what sign are you? What sign are you? When's your birthday? Because to get along with a Gemini, I usually get along with Gemini, and that's because I have a ton of Sagittarius in my chart. Curious, adaptability, versatile. The favorite phrase for Geminis is, I think. Oh, Pisces. Oh, my rising sign is Pisces. Oh, wow. So Pisces is very compassionate. We hold the space for everybody's. We fight, yeah. Because we have the two fish, almost in a way, never thought of this, Pisceans, we have the two fish, and the fish are tethered together. So Pisces also has some indecision, and they have the push-pull. They have kind of twinning energy as well, if we're being honest. So you two fight. That makes sense because your water, the air is stirring up and creating riptides in the water. Pisces is a water sign. So Gemini is going to fuel that water and create these massive waves and tsunamis. That's funny that you said we fight. So the favorite phrase is, I think. Like no other sign in the zodiac, Geminis really do value thinking. Thinking. Oh, a water rabbit. Okay. So Gemini is the third sign in the astrological wheel. We start with Aries, we go into Taurus, and then they are the third. 3 is the number of creation. Geminis are very creative, very well dressed, very animated. Most Geminis I know, they always look good because theater is in their blood and soul. They're there. They make probably some of the better actors and actresses, and they're beautiful. I mean, most Geminis that I know are very attractive. The men are handsome, the women are pretty, and the women are usually very pretty. So here are some celebrities that I'm like, oh my God, they're Gemini, duh. Angelina Jolie, Marilyn Monroe is Gemini. Nicole Kidman, Gemini. Naomi Campbell, Gemini. Natalie Portman, Gemini. All beautiful women. And then the men, JFK was Gemini. Paul McCartney, Gemini. Kanye West. We all know he's definitely Gemini. Yeah, aren't they the faves? So Kanye West, Johnny Depp, hold on to your hat. Morgan Freeman, who I love so much. Bob Dylan. Kendrick Lamar, lights out. No wonder this guy is so damn mad, cool, creative, incredible. He's Gemini. And hold on, the artist, Prince, was Gemini. Prince was Gemini. So wow, wow, wow. So it starts to make sense. The mad creativity coming through people that have this astrological sign. So this thought comes from Allure. It says that Gemini is playful, intellectually curious. Gemini is constantly juggling a variety of passions, hobbies, careers, and friend groups. They are the social butterflies of the zodiac. These quick-witted twins can talk to anyone about anything. You'll find them buzzy between happy and Gemini's negative traits, which include being impulsive and inconsistent. They're prone to rash decisions and boredom and may struggle to find purpose in life. Gemini may also be seen as two-faced because they have a tendency to stretch the truth or exaggerate when they're trying to impress people. Gemini's stressor is boredom. I work with a young lady and I always tell her that I call it idle. Maybe boredom is a better word, but I said, you don't do idle very well. I see that when she has time on her hands and her mind gets to whirl and think, it's not good for her because then she can go into worry and overwhelm. I went on and I had fun with this because, AI is part of our lives. So I asked AI, why are Geminis, and I put this exact sentence, why are Geminis so trippy? And it says, Geminis, the answer came back, Geminis are known for their ever-shifting moods due to having Mercury as their ruling planet. Mercury governs communication, cognitive function, and memory. So Geminis have very active minds. And it is said because their mind is so active, they can have high levels of anxiety disorder, insomnia, and nervous exhaustion. I see this in the Geminis that I know. They go, literally with their own brains and their own thoughts. They short circuit themselves and then they get exhausted and then they have to retreat. So I said they're the social butterflies of the zodiac sign. Of the things I know of Gemini, especially the ones I know, one of the things that people don't know about Geminis is that they're in their quest for completion. Now, they're the sign of the twins. And, they've done studies on twins separated at birth and magical stories, how they find each other or how they end up living out the same type of lives. But I truly believe it, especially for the people, the Geminis, the few Geminis that I know. The need for completion, the search for a twin, the other part of themselves. Marilyn Monroe, like I said, was a Gemini with an Aquarius rising. So she was double air. And she was very, 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 very famous for being like an airhead, so to speak. But she actually was uber intelligent. And so this rising, this double air made it very complex for her. So while she was extremely intelligent, she was also considered neurotically high strung and unable to reconcile the contradictions of, on one hand, she was loved and adored and revered by so many, but intrinsically, when you look at her life, she was alone. She spent a lot of time alone. It is said that Gemini's soulmates are Libra and Aquarius. So generally, most compatible signs for Gemini friendships and relationships are their fellow air signs, Aquarius and Libra. Also, two Geminis are one of the three zodiac signs that can actually live together and have harmony. The other one, I believe, is Virgo, and it may be two Libras. I believe it's two Libras, two Virgos, and two Geminis. A colleague of mine, his parents were both Geminis, and they produced a huge, abundant family. And so, they got along well because they truly have to understand that it's such a unique vibe and energy. It really takes a special person to be with and understand a Gemini. With them being the butterfly of the zodiac, there's a tendency for people to try to crush their wings. To know a Gemini is to love a Gemini and let them float and fly and be free. Okay. Fire signs are also good for Gemini. So Leo, Aries, and Sagittarius, again, similarly, like I said, Sagittarius fuels the fire. Leo will do that. Aries will do it. They will do it in different ways, but they will also be with air that's going to fuel their fire. Okay, so we are staring down a new year. So it's natural to look ahead and think about the future. And I think with much speculation, with everything that happened with the election and the uncertainty of a new leader running the U.S., it's very uncertain, can be very uncertain. But at the end of the day, the one thing that we have control over is ourselves. So Sagittarius energy and Gemini energy ask us to think outside of the box. I've had to do this. I've been ruminating some ideas. I've done the same things in the same ways. And some things serve me, but I'm thinking about ways that I can be more innovative, think outside the box, ways I can be more articulate. And what I love about Sagittarius is a sign of the archer, and they actually target, zero in, and they pull that bow and arrow back to focus on what they want. So that archer energy is still on deck with us until the 20th, 21st, before we go into Capricorn. So we have this archer energy that sets our sights on the target. And the archer of Sagittarius, they want this for themselves and they want them for other people. And that is to focus on your heart's desire. Oh, I'm so sorry you're having connection issues. I'm so sorry. So as we think about this new year coming ahead, I know a bunch of scenarios have been running through my head. Should I do this? Should I do that? What comes to mind on a new year is typically like work. Work is always a big one. One of the bigger ones, two big ones are losing weight and looking for another job. Should I stay? Should I look for a more challenging job? Should I try to fight and find the job that's going to give me the promotion and pay me more money? But then as a sacrifice of I don't have personal time, do I really want to go somewhere else where I have to start all over and learn, and maybe not even learn the capability, but learn how the company operates and how it runs. Hey, there's my cousin from Atlanta, the Cake Factory, K-A-K-E Factory. I owe you a response, my dear. You've been on my mind. I was just going to actually pick up the phone. I'm just going to call her at this stage. But I love you. I miss you. I hope everything is going well. If you're in the Atlantic area or just in general, look up her page. What she does with cakes is unbelievable. I'm so unbelievably proud of you, Kenya. You've done such an amazing job. So the Cake Factory Atlanta. Oh, you're so sweet. You're like, it's okay, cousin. It's not okay. I own it because it's not right. So anyway, so if you're running through a bunch of what do you want to upgrade? Do you want to move? Do you feel like you need a different apartment? Do you feel like you need a different home? So these are some of the scenarios that are playing through. Is it time to really be fearlessly and go for that relationship? As we think about making changes in jobs and in homes, what is the lifestyle that you want? I'm sure this is coming up for 2025. And also, where do you want it to go from here? Where do you want your life? Where do you want your relationships to go as we go forward? Because Sagittarius and Gemini are famous for having friends and being cordial and having lots of friend circles. So when you think about relationships, think about the ones you have with your families and friends. There's strong closure energy because this is a full moon at the end of the month, the middle of the month, but it's closing out a year. So there's strong closure energy. And this full moon is illuminating what cannot be held in the same space. So the Gemini, the opposite sides of the coin, is saying there's two energies here and they can't hold the same space, or some old energy or how you have been operating needs to be changed. And it's time to turn the page and start looking in the direction of the new year. So this full moon is about something ending and light being brought to information that leads us to a conclusion. We will get conclusions. We may get closure and solace on something that has been plaguing us for all year long. Like the twin energy of the two twins, it can feel like you either win or lose. You got it right or you got it wrong. But even if the outcome feels like you're unlucky or you're sad or you feel like you lost, at the end of the day, even if you win, it's not that much of a victory if someone else had to suffer. So no matter what, whichever way it goes, the faster we just accept that it's part of our plight, part of our road, the better it will be. And at the end of the day, you will be glad that it's happened. The beautiful thing is that Gemini is fast moving air. It governs motion, communication, facts, information. It governs how we speak and how we write. So Mercury is the ruler of Gemini, and it's going direct the same day we have this full moon. Sagittarius. Sagittarius is big vision, higher learning, ruled by Jupiter. Jupiter is abundance and growth. So despite everything, this is considered a really great time. Gemini is into the details, meticulous, curious, observes everything closely. And Gemini is represented by the twins. So Gemini is very familiar and comfortable with duality. And this full moon has contrasting energy, just like those twins. Mercury retrograde is ending and stationing direct. And so because of that, we will have major breakthroughs. We should have major breakthroughs. So the full moon comes in on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. We should get some clarity and we should have some breakthroughs. So Mercury is in Sagittarius right now. So the planet Mercury is in Sagittarius. So we got Mercury in Sagittarius. We got the sun in Sagittarius. And so that is, I always get this wrong. That is sitting in Gemini's planet. So Mercury is Gemini's planet. Jupiter is in Gemini, and Gemini is in retrograde. It's a lot. I know it's a lot. But suffice it to say, they've switched places. So Sagittarius is holding Mercury and Gemini is holding Jupiter. So typically these are going to create mutual reception because it's like walking in each other's shoes. It's like, I'm walking in your shoes. I'm wearing the shoes. And both Venus and Pluto are in Aquarius. Like I said, there's a lot of air on deck during this time, but it's bringing in more air and it's time to take a deep breath, take a deep inhale and exhale. And sometimes Sagittarius and Jupiter energy is hard to define because it's due to faith. Faith is nothing that you can, faith is not something that you can hold on to. It's an internal energy that we have. But this is magnetic energy because we're at the holidays. It's the season of light and joy. So I hope you really take time to enjoy December. That is why they call it the holidays, because we're meant to enjoy it and really, really take time to bring out the light in ourselves and in others. It's time for deep internal listening and connection, and the overall energy stays positive because Jupiter is Sagittarius home planet. We got this Jupiterian energy on deck supporting us. So look at how powerful December lined up to be. On 12/1, we had the new moon in Sagittarius, the 12/12 portal that came in yesterday. This 12/12 portal runs through 12/21. So search engine, what does the 12/12 portal mean? Check out the quick 3-minute the live that I did yesterday about the 12/12 portal. Very important. As I'm filming this today, it's Friday the 13th. It's the day of the goddess. Look that up too. 12:15, the full moon comes in. 12:15, Mercury stations direct. 12:21, the winter solstice comes through. The winter solstice, the shortest daylight of the year, and the winter solstice bring different energy as well. Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, and Hanukkah happens to be on the same exact day of Christmas. The first night of Hanukkah starts on 12/25. Talk about a spiritually auspicious driven day. Kwanzaa, which I don't know much about, have never celebrated, but Kwanzaa is on the 26th. I think there's also like the Armenian New Year that comes. I think in England, Great Britain, they celebrate Boxing Day. And then on 12/31, New Year's Eve, where we ring in a new year and close down the gate. And we really officially turn the page. I close by coming back to this thought from Yoga Journal. there are a couple categories or paragraphs that I didn't say. Start by looking at how you reconcile differing viewpoints you hold about the same thing. When we are unclear about what we desire or how we want to feel, it can be challenging to draw our visions into existence. Become aware of any conflicting thoughts or emotions within you. If you have been torn between energies, the illumination of the full moon can help you choose one and follow it with confidence into the new year. This is also a time to look at how you may have been too rigid in your opinions. Gemini's energy can divide us where two parties cannot possibly consider each other's perspectives. We see this unfolding in our political parties, and we see this unfolding in our families. This full moon is a time to learn how to communicate with both yourself and others. And I think the key word is how to communicate with yourself and others. This full moon is coming in this Sunday, 12:15 at 1:01 a.m. So basically, when we wake up on the 16th, we will be living and breathing this full moon energy. We have 3 days, so we have the 15, 16, 17 to capitalize on the peak energy, but we have 2 weeks. I hate to say it to get it right, but 2 weeks to explore and work with the energy. Burn lots of sage, burn lots of sage. Oh my goodness, I can't tell you enough how much sage to burn, and breathe, breathe, breathe. 23 degrees is the number of great change, unexpected change. But if we stay open and agile and we bend like bamboo when those winds come in, everything's going to be all right. I wish you well. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful weekend ahead. I will catch you in the next video. I'm going to close out the year with the new moon in Capricorn coming in on the 30th, just in time. And I love this energy of Capricorn. So enjoy the holidays. Take care of yourself. Be safe. It's a crazy time out there. Be safe and take good care. Thank you so much for listening and tuning in. Namaste.